Smoking hot body.
I'm Jules McQueen.
And I'm Jana Waller.
And we want you
to stay gritty.
You got to shoot it for 500 arrows before you can make a decision. And I'm like, I don't walk 500 miles in boots that don't fit me.
Stumbles on his face.
And then I hear him behind me yelling, "Take your shirt off." And I was like, I know he's not talking to her. So, or maybe he was. I don't know. So I was like, it's going to happen. I need this cooler.
Yeah. He's like, 1, 2, 3. And he's like, shaking. He's like, I don't have you. Let go. Let go.
Well, okay. So, okay.
I was on the side where I was getting help from which I could see how it impacts. And now I get to see from an ambassador standpoint, staff standpoint, the impact we're making on individuals' lives.
So these monkey bars aren't flat. First off, they like go up and then down, and his nub is like cutting everything off. I get to that third ring, and I was like, this isn't happening.
And it's just to see, you can take somebody who is just, you can tell, just been in their own minds, just kind of almost like a prison, and you get them into the outdoors, and you get them doing these things, and their whole demeanor changes.
What's wrong, Aaron? He's got a half an arm, dude. He's crushing you.
Oh, my God.
All right, folks. Welcome to the Gritty Bowman Podcast. We're here. It's Salt Lake City. He's tapping out. He's tapping out. We're here at the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo in Salt Lake City. We've got Bryan Marshall here from Wishes for Warriors, also known as Bam Bam, and my illustrious co-host, Aaron Snyder. Hello. And Erik
Galvan.
Yeah.
Erik Galvan.
Or just G.
Eric G. On Instagram, Eric_G.
2 underscores.
2 underscores.
Special.
Erik, I don't know you, so give me a little background here.
Yeah, so was born and raised in Texas, and joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. Got stationed in California. Mm-hmm. That's where I reside now. I mean, that's pretty much it. Deployed back in 2011 in March. Went to Sangin, Afghanistan, Helmand Province. Was there about 3.5 months or so before I got injured. Spent a couple weeks, probably about almost 4 weeks in a coma. And I woke up, and then that's when, started the therapy and started getting back on the legs and stuff. And I think all that took me about around 9 months, 8-9 months, and then, I was just kind of waiting to get discharged and retired out, and ended up moving back to California. And a few years later, about a year or so later, I ended up meeting Bam Bam, and just been with this guy ever since. So
my road dog.
So for people who are listening and not watching, you're missing both legs from.
Nope. I have one leg above the knee and one leg below the knee. And I'm also missing my right hand right below the elbow.
Right below the elbow.
And if you weren't watching when we started, he was choking me out with the nub. Doing a very good job. There's some strength on that thing. He had the larynx.
I work out. So.
Yeah. So was that IED or was that?
Yes, it was an IED. We were on a foot patrol. We had to go talk to an informant, and we were making our way back to our PB, which is a patrol base. And I would say we were... less than probably half a click out. I could see the patrol base, and ended up hitting an IED and some tree lines, and it's pretty much it. So,
any guys also injured with you, or?
I think about 5 or 6 other guys also got hurt in that same incident, if I remember correctly. It's all still kind of vague to me still. So
yeah,
I would say probably about 5 or 6 other guys. Luckily, nobody ended up. Passing away there. It was just kind of missing limbs and other stuff like that. So,
dude, that's heavy. It's just heavy. It's just a big loss, When did you meet Bam Bam?
I want to say it was 2014.
Yep.
I want to say probably October, November timeframe. We did a Tough Mudder. Together.
Worst thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
Worst thing.
So actually, how
whose
it
idea
happened,
was that, dude?
Well,
neither one of ours.
What happened was my sister-in-law went to school with the guy who helps us out, and he's I got in touch with him, And I was still kind of like standoffish, kind of didn't want any help. I was kind of going south mentally. And I was like, no, like, just let me do me.
I don't need help.
Well, not that. I was just kind of like, just let me wheelchair away. Like, just leave me alone, I was kind of at that point. And
were you in the wheelchair?
No, I was walking. I was up and moving around. And I was like, you know what? Just why not give the guy a call? And so I called him. I talked to him for a few minutes. And then he passed me on to BAM. And BAM, I think, called me either minutes later. And he's like, yo, man, I'm Bam Bam, wishing for Warriors, what do you want to do? I was like, man, I don't know. I was just giving you your number. I'm going to give you a call. You see what you're about. And he was like, yeah, we have a Tough Mudder coming up. Is that something you're interested in? I was like, man, I don't know. Like, we can do it. I don't care. He's like, well, how well can you move around? I was like, well, I walk. I run every now and then. Like, I don't lift. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And he was like, let's do that. I was like, okay. And we set it up. It's probably about 6 or 7 months, like down the road.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So mentally, I was like, I'm gonna prepare for it, right? And I was like, I'm gonna get into weights. I'm gonna lift weights. I'm gonna run. I probably drank beer more in those 7 months than I did in my Marine Corps career.
This story gets really good.
And so the day comes where I have to go meet him and stuff. And so I go up to his house and finally meet Bam and some of the crew and some of the volunteers. And we're all excited, like, yeah, we're going to crush this Tough Mudder. Triple amputee doing a Tough Mudder. It's going to be epic. And I was like, yeah, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And Bam's like, so what can't you do? And I said, hills. Can't do hills. I can go up hills, but I can't go down hills. He's like, oh, no, don't worry. We'll take care of it. And we're driving to where we had to do the Tough Mudder. It was 30 minutes, something like that, 30, 35 minutes. We park, and then he's like, man, I got to let you know. I looked up the course last night. World's hilliest Tough Mudder ever.
in giant red letters. The second I click the course, it says, wow, most hilliest Tough Mudder of all time or something. I was like, oh, God.
And I look at him like, man, you're going to have to carry me. Like, I told you. Like, there's no way around it. And he's like, oh, no, don't worry, man. I've been in the gym for like the last 3 months, been killing back, just crushing back.
It.
And I was like, all right, man, like, I guess. And so it starts. First obstacle was the monkey bars. And so he's like, oh, man, just get on my back. I'll carry you around. Like I said, I've been crushing back. And he's doing this. Like, I was crushing back. I got it. And I was like, all right, man. And so he's like, get on. So I got on. I'm trying to hang on with my arm. And he's like, 1, 2, 3, and he's like shaking. He's like, I don't have you. Let go.
Well, okay. So these monkey bars aren't flat. First off, they like go up and then down, and his nub is like cutting everything off. I get to that third ring, and I was like, this isn't happening. I'm like, dude, bail, bro, just bail. And I was devastated. I didn't give a shit about him falling in the water. In my mind, in the last 3 months of preparation for this one moment, I was going to look like an epic hero of just like clink, clink with a dude on my back. Only made it 3. Not even like halfway. 3 bars. And I just
can't picture you being much of a pull-up dude.
I crush pull-ups, bro. I could knock out
body weight ratio.
No, I could crush pull-ups. So I was like, on lap pull down, like max in the plays, just ready to go. I'm like, he's a little dude. I got this. And no, not even close.
Okay, so what happened next?
So I drop in the water, and Bam's like, "Are you good? I don't want to drop on you." Like,
well, it's like he's like Nemo. He's got this little thing, and he's like swimming in a circle. So it was
How deep is it?
You can't touch the bottom.
I couldn't touch the bottom.
He went and didn't come up for like 2, and I'm hanging, and I'm like looking at him, I'm like, oh shit, he doesn't have legs on, like, and he's got like one hand, so he pops up swimming in circles like Nemo. I was like, I got to get in and help this guy right now.
Oh, man. And, that's how the Tough Mudder kicked off. It was that. And, I mean, you can imagine the next 7 hours, almost
7.5 hours.
Almost 8 hours was other obstacles. And
we did every obstacle. The giant walls. We had rock climbing gear. We hoisted them up and over. I mean, we did everything, even the electric shock one we did.
No, so at this point, the electric shock at the end, once you've done 12.3 miles, I'm like, I'm broke. I'm just like, Bam, can we just – because there's spots where you can go around obstacles, you don't do them. Like, man, can we just go around? He's like, no, we made it this far. We're going through. And I was like,
come on.
I'm like, no.
What the hell's wrong with this guy?
I was like, no.
Okay,
like,
wait a
I
minute. Did you know Bam Bam very well before this?
No, this is the first time I met.
Yeah.
Well, second time. So I met him one other time before that. And that's.
Are you rethinking this relationship at this point?
Oh no, it was great. I think at that point I was. Now it's great. But yeah, coming to the back end of this Tough Mudder, I was like, I was begging him, damn near tears in my eyes, begging him to go around. I did not want to get shocked.
Everybody was.
And he was like, no, we made it this far. We're going through it. And I was like, okay. And not only am I soaking wet, but they make you jump in a big puddle of water before you go through.
Yeah, just to shock the crap out of you more.
Right. And
describe this. What is it exactly?
So it's like a lot of cattle wire hanging down, and you're trying to run through it without getting shocked, but you get people get hit and they just buckle and fall down.
Sparks were coming off people's heads. Like you could hear it click, and it would be like.
I was going to say, it reminded me of Bug Zapper when I
Yes,
did
yeah.
it. Like,
yes.
Oh, and then there was guys that were, I can do it, and then they go through and they hit a couple.
That was
wires
me.
and
They hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
I want to watch that.
YouTube
Is it on
it.
YouTube?
YouTube it.
There's guys who are running, and it's like ding, it's like, and just fall over. Like it's,
Like a bug
locked.
zapper.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
And it just clicks. It's like a tick, and you just poof, face first.
yeah. And so there was a guy also kind of doing it like not with us, but there too, and he wanted to help out, and he was like, "Oh, just get on my back. I'll run through you, like run with you through it." Because I mean, a lot of the guys were exhausted, taking turns, kind of carrying me through this Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right." So I got on his back, and he goes through, and he gets hit with one. He kind of like shakes it off. He's like, "All right, I'm fine." He gets hit again, and his knees buckle when he falls down. I mean, just and it's just straight down, and I'm on the ground, and it's like right above me, and it's like I can crawl through this and not get hit. And I mean, there was a good probably 1.5 foot gap, and I was like, I can do this. So I'm crawling through, and there's this small little berm. And, I mean, it's just muddy and slippery. I keep falling back, and bam, he's trying to like spider crawl, like trying to go through, and he's like, I got you, buddy, and he's puts his hand on my ass. He's pushed me through. Well, he's big as so he gets he gets hit, he gets shocked, and it transfers to my ass. And I'm like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
He's screaming at me, and that thing hit me dead center in my spine, just being like about to hit myself. It goes right into him. He's screaming at me. So everybody, we got this like, there's like 15 of us, and we're all like face in the mud, and nobody's moving. Like no, everybody's too scared to move. So we just had to you just had to commit and go. I think they felt bad for us and like turned it off because we just like started rolling and nobody. It was brutal.
I was like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
Screaming. Like I'm talking screaming. That's like people
You can
like.
picture this fat dude behind me, like he's a liability right now.
You can hear people
not
like,
helping.
help him. Like people are feeling sorry for us. We're like stuck in this death trap. It was horrible.
So I rolled off the backside of this berm, and I'm like, oh, I made it. And he rolls after me, and I get a big boot in the back of my head.
My heel goes straight into his head.
Oh god, the worst.
We did it. It was great. It was
Made it across.
Yeah.
And we got a stupid headband for it.
And a T-shirt.
And a t-shirt.
But don't you cherish that, Eric?
I still have that shirt, and I take it to the gym. I think that's like motivation. Like,
It
hey,
is.
if I can get through that damn thing, I can crush in the gym. But
I mean,
Well, you're pretty freaking mobile for above the knee.
I am.
Yeah, I was watching you walk around earlier. I was like, pretty. I mean, a lot of guys above the knee don't move around as well as you.
Yeah.
So
especially considering you got one. They're both not real.
Right.
You know.
I mean, what helps is having an actual knee. I mean, I obviously being in my situation, I've seen a lot of amputees, and I talk to guys all the time. I mean, guys who are missing both legs above the knees. If I just had one of my knees, it would have made the world a difference.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, I can sort of like ease my way down when I sit, or sort of like squat down. These guys, if they get like starting to come down, there's no stopping that. I mean, they're just falling and stuff. So I mean, it helps with stairs and stuff like that too. So
How did that experience change you? Did it?
No, I think it humbled me for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got hurt, I was 19. I mean, I still feeling bulletproof, thinking that that's just going to touch me, and then boom. I mean, 19 years old, not even old enough to drink yet, and I'm disabled for life. I remember when I came out of a coma, and the first time I was able to kind of like sit up and see, I walked my body with my eyes. I just kind of like started falling, going down, and I got to the knees, and the blanket lay flat in the hospital. I cried like a baby because I'm like, here I am, 19, and I'll never be able to run with my kids when I had kids. I'll never pass a football around with my kids because I was right-handed.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that most people kind of take for granted that I'm now realizing that I'll never be able to do again. And I remember my mom looked at me. She said, if you're going to cry, get it over with. But when you're done, when you get your ass up, you're moving. I mean, you're 19. You're not going to stay in a chair for the rest of your life.
You got a life.
Right. And that always stuck with me. And so now I'm just like, why complain? You know, I got a second chance at life. A lot of people don't get that. And so I make the most of it. So
you said you were going through a little funk and everything. And then when you did this Tough Mudder and all that, and you met Wishes and stuff, how did that affect you?
Yeah. So really, my funk really stemmed from
after the shock treatment.
Yeah.
After the shock.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide, I guess I do like Bam Bam?
Once he killed his elk.
Yeah. Which was, 3 years later?
Yeah.
No, so, I mean, the funk really stemmed from, here I am, a young guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not disabled for life. A lot of my guys, they get out of the Marine Corps, they're moving around. I don't have contact with my guys anymore. You know, I stuck myself inside my apartment, and I wouldn't get out, Nobody to talk to. I have my fiance, but there's just certain things that she just won't get. No matter how much she's there to support, there's just certain things that guys like Bam and guys like Corey and things like that, they're the only people who understand. And so that's kind of where it stemmed from, was like I just didn't have that camaraderie anymore, that brotherhood that we had when we were in the military. And that's what I was really necessarily longing for. I mean, I got a service dog thing that was going to help, and that helped for a few months, but there was still something missing. And I mean, the moment I got in contact with this guy and we did a Tough Mudder, I mean, I was like, I found family again, and we've just been together ever since. So
that's cool.
Yep.
So where are you? Because you guys can't be.
We
too
live
far
like 30
apart.
minutes apart.
Okay,
from
yeah,
each
I
other.
was wondering, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Now, can you drive?
I can.
Yeah. What do you drive?
I have a Silverado.
Is it
Crew Cab.
modified much?
It's modified. I have hand controls, but I don't use them.
Yeah.
When I had to get my license again, I had to use them to get my license, but it just didn't feel natural. And because I do have a knee, I have the ability to switch between brake and gas.
I was going to say, your right foot, that was a savior.
Yeah. And so that's how I drive. I use my legs.
Not that this is remotely close, but I ripped my bicep off once, and I did not realize how tough it is to drive with a stick shift specifically with one hand. So I'm assuming it's an automatic. But
I tore all the nerves in my elbow.
Yeah.
And it took me like 9 months to recover, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even pick up a phone and try to drive, and I drive left hand. It was miserable.
Well, that's
I couldn't even manage learning how to redrive.
I'd raise my knee up to steer, and then I'd shift across, and I was driving. It was
that's so sketchy. That's so sketchy.
6-inch Jeep with a 6-inch lift.
You were trying to turn a corner and shifting at the same time.
Well, I had a 90-pound center force clutch with 38s on a 6 with a Rubicon, and it had a death wobble occasionally because that's what Jeeps do that big. Yeah. So you no issues at all?
No.
How are you? Hop right in?
Yeah. Man, I just
picturing it. Probably left arm to the bar and yank yourself right up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good though that you've got the knee on the right because you can drive anything.
Yeah, so it allows me to to go back and forth, and I figured, well, I guess not. I mean, if I put my arm on, I could probably drive a stick, but I'm not going to attempt that one.
How often do you wear the arm on the right?
Not often. So I wear my rec arm when I go to the gym.
Yeah.
But I don't. You have some attachments there you can put on like Captain Hook.
Yeah. Yeah, so for the gym, it's just an attachment with I can clamp over to do a bar or free weights. And as far as a mobility standpoint prosthetic, I have one, but I don't wear it because my arm sweats and it falls off. So I walk around all day doing this here.
That'll fuck somebody up.
You
lost your arm.
Yeah.
Falls off at Walmart.
Right. Charlie did it again.
Well, your left arm's big as shit, so you must hit the gym pretty frequently.
Yeah, the gym. No. Yeah. I try to go at least 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Just because all the meds that guys like myself going to the hospital and stuff makes you gain a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And you start fluctuating weight, I mean, you're starting to change the dynamics of your prosthetics, things like that. So I try to stay at least a constant weight. So.
Yeah. What do you weigh?
I weigh 152, 150 now.
You have about 180 before the accident, 170?
No, I was a $135. And
that's a role reversal then. I lost all my arms and legs and I gained weight. That doesn't happen very often.
Right. Yeah. And
man, you were little.
I was, I was tiny. He
Did
put me in a
19.
pack.
You should see
Yeah, I
his
was 19.
pictures. He looks like a little child.
I was like a little
Tiny.
kid at 19 too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
was
I like weighed one.
I was little once. Believe it or not, yeah.
Well, I don't think
I was
so.
155 pounds when I was 19.
170.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And,
Huh.
Gained
and-
100 pounds in the Marine Corps.
And I mean, all the meds made me gain so much weight. I think the heaviest I've ever been was probably about 180, 185, and I'm like, hell no.
I'd say no homo. You look fit now. I mean,
Yeah, so that was before I was actually starting to go to the gym, and I was like, I'm way too big. Like I can't. Had to change prosthetics a couple times, like sizes, clothes. I was like, I got to get back in the gym. Went back in the gym and lost by about 25, 30 pounds, and so I'm kind of doing a thing now. So
Oh, that's cool.
that's probably why he
Bam,
couldn't carry me across a monkey
you
bars.
lost some weight.
no.
He's
None?
gaining weight.
I know you were gaining, but from the last show to this one, you look. Maybe it's the clothing.
Yeah, man titties.
Yeah, he looks like a man titties.
That's funny.
God.
I know you were definitely buffer the first time I saw you than you are now. I wasn't going to bring anything up, but
Thanks. Yeah, I've been on the. I've been in Texas.
yeah, it is.
I
rough on
literally
the
just
show.
took like a month off, and it
Yeah.
sucks, but whatever.
Yeah.
So you need to quit the high chews.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dude, those things are like chemicals, man.
They're the most delicious chemicals I've ever had in my life.
What
I
are
will
they?
eat Haichu.
Stop that. Stop that.
I've never
you-
had them.
That's just stupid.
Oh my, what?
They're
I,
just. I can't stand.
Did
What
you
is
drive?
it?
Are you driving
I hate
home?
'em.
Yeah.
They're gross, Aaron. Don't
Yeah.
don't do it.
They're
Don't
bad.
do it.
Lies. Most amazing thing you've ever seen in your,
My
in your
wife
life.
loves them, and
Who
anytime I find
doesn't
them, I'm
love
like
'em?
chucking them in the trash.
Oh my!
What are they like, a
God.
cookie
It's like
or a
no,
cracker?
it's a little
It's
like,
like a taffy.
taffy, chewy,
Oh,
delicious.
dude,
Oh.
it's just like a fancy
That
Starburst.
seems like that'd make you shit like a
No,
like a
I don't-
wadded up.
No, my body's used to it because I'll eat. Literally, I go like get the Costco bags and I'll eat a Costco bag in like 2 days.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
Holy cow!
love it, love it. All right, that's why I got my dad bod.
So, Eric, tell me this. You've been working with Wishes for Warriors
Yep.
now for how long?
3 years.
About 3 years. Yep.
3 years?
Yeah.
What is one of the most rewarding parts of that for you?
Giving back for sure.
Yeah.
Just because I can see both sides. Like I was on the side where I was getting help from Wishes. I could see how it impacts, and now I get to see from an ambassador standpoint, staff standpoint, the impact we're making on individuals' lives. And it's just to see, you can take somebody who is just, you can tell, just been in their own minds, just kind of almost like a prison, and you get them into the outdoors, and you get them doing these things, and their whole demeanor changes. And now they have a smile on their face. Now they have a new outlook on life, and now they're feeling positive about continuing life instead of, ending it. And
Yeah.
I can see both sides, and just watching the smiles on these guys' faces is really rewarding, in my opinion.
I mean, man, like, I would imagine, because this happens to me, I'll complain about like a stiff knee and like my shoulder's kind of tight, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, man, this sucks, and I'm so frustrated with my body, and dude, this is lame, and I'll be all upset. Then I watch some amputee come in and like clean and jerk something, and I'm like, and I'm also like, I'm too tired to hit the gym. I got this sore muscle, and it's like, it is absolutely inspiring to see somebody go in, do that, and it puts you in perspective, man. You're like looking at it going, I am a baby.
Well, I've got
I'm
a buddy.
freaking baby. I'm a boob.
He was a WMPT, and he walked everywhere on his hands. But when you're not used to that, and you walk out, you go outside, and the guy had his hands were tougher than woodpecker lips. But when he walks the car in his hands, he could walk fast on his hands. I'd be like, hey, you want me to carry you? He's like, no. And he'd flip up on his hands and walk out of the car in his hands. People would be looking, and it'd take him a second, like, oh, he's got no legs. And then he'd go back down in kind of a yoga move, and I'd pick his ass up and put him in the front seat, and I'm like, why didn't you let me carry you? He's like, well, chicks dig that. And I was like, and so he had a really good outlook. And that's one of the reasons I try not to ever. It can always be worse. I try not to ever complain that where like talk about sore.
Man.
But
You can't say anything around these guys. I freaking
Totally.
Every time I kicked an escalator, you know how they have the spikes?
Yeah.
And I was in flip-flops, and I, peel my toenail back. And I was like, oh, my God. I'm like, my toe. And I turn around, and him and Corey are behind, and they're both like, straight face, like, oh, yeah, bro, your toe? Oh, must be rough that you can feel that. And, there's, blood pouring out of it. It's like my toenails peeled up like a 90. And then I couldn't say anything.
Well,
I couldn't
what I was
say
going to
anything.
say is,
I'm fine.
Fine, whatever. Shut up.
do you find that when a guy's in a funk like that, and maybe he's single amputee, and you come across and it seems like you could be very impactful for a guy like that.
Yeah, I mean, I see it a lot, especially being with Bam. I mean, just anybody across the board, whether it's an amputee or a normal guy, they look at guys like myself and some of our other Wishes staff, and it's like you said, I cannot complain about a bad day. But I mean, on the flip side, I mean, we have bad days too. But I'm ecstatic, and I'm glad to be on a platform where it kind of motivates you guys, because if we can motivate you and you motivate me at the same time, we motivate each other, we can accomplish different things, and it's great. So just being on that platform, being able to impact people's lives that way, I mean, it's outstanding.
Do you find that you're getting better and better at moving, or is you kind of hit it and you're just at where you're at, or is it this like a learning thing all the time?
It's always a learning thing. I mean, whether it's different terrain I'm walking on, or trying to pick things up, and like I said, I'm getting back in the gym and working out a lot more. I'm getting more strength in my upper body. I'm finding I can pick different things up. Not just the side of the sofa when I'm trying to like sweep or whatever. I'm able to like pick the table, the chair, the different things, and so it's always changing for me. It's always dynamic, which is interesting. So
yeah. So you live in like an apartment, condo type of thing?
No, I live in a house. I actually bought a house a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because with the VA, it's you got a pretty good deal, interest rate, stuff like that. So
did you have to do much modifications to the house?
No, I didn't modify the house. Just because I'm up and moving all the time. There's really nothing that I need help with.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
Yeah, and as far as like my shower is concerned, the restroom's concerned, I mean, I have the ability to kind of sit up and stand up, or sit up and sit, and from the toilet or whatever. And my shower is a stand up shower, so I just scoot right in. I don't use a chair, and I just scoot. So
yeah, that's cool though, because really then you're never at whatever impacted where you have to go in and make anything different. Because when you first came in, I couldn't see that you were missing your legs. When you came around the corner, I was like, he's pretty mobile.
Trust me. The two hardest things we've ever done with Wishes, period, was with him. So we're done. I'm done hunting with him. We're doing anything with him. So now he's strictly a board member. But I mean, you see this guy. I mean, we did that hunt with Jana this year in Wyoming, and to see how mobile he is and running the mountains and chasing elk. We were hunting up there with R&K. That was. I mean,
where can people see that?
It's not out yet. Jana, it aired on Sportsman's Channel. So,
so it'll be out on like VHX. Soon.
Yeah, I don't know where she doesn't do YouTube, so I don't know where they go afterward.
You can download episodes of VHX.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they still did VHS.
No, VHS.
I was like, X. I was like, geez.
No, they're like you can log on. Usually, you can find it like School
But I
Bound
think she's
TV.
doing that My TV or whatever.
Maybe,
not Carbon, but the other one.
Carbon
yeah,
TV.
no, I mean that was an epic hunt.
So but it's out. It aired, and it'll be probably we can see it soon
last
month. It's not
right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and that was a hell of a trip, and we got our asses broke off on that trip. Yeah. And we hunted. We passed a 6x the first morning.
Two.
How
cool was that, man?
He's never heard an elk bugle, never seen it. Man. Like, it was awesome witnessing that with him.
Yeah, no. So it was nice. I mean, first day out on the mountain, and like you said, we saw 2 6x, and I was. First day I was told, we'll see more. You don't want to ruin your week, so I was there for a week. And I was like, okay, like, you guys are professionals. I'll wait.
I'm thinking, shoot that son of a bitch right now.
and you're going you're going for an elk hunt, not an easy whitetail hunt. You're going for glutton for punishment.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, you guys are professionals. Like, I guess. We didn't see a darn thing for the next 3 days. We're always right behind them. We always missed them. And so we ended up getting caught in a blizzard. Got stuck in a blizzard for a few hours.
That's awesome.
It was cool. I made snow amputees. It was great.
Yeah. He laid down the snow amputees. It was there's one little wing and then like one full wing.
Busted up angel.
It was hilarious.
My strong hand.
Yeah.
And ended up going back to the lodge and waiting it out, and went back out that night for the evening portion. And sure as rain, saw a nice 5x come out and plugged him away at 200 yards. So
that's pretty epic. I was sitting right behind him, and that bull came out and it fed right at us and kept angling. It wouldn't give us a shot, and then finally turned broadside. I was like, dump it.
Wow.
And he put a 300 wind, double lunged it, and then spun around 30 yards and piled up.
How was that?
Oh, man. I think that was probably the most – because I went deer hunting with them a few years ago too. I think this elk hunt was the most rewarding because I had to work for it.
We worked. I'm talking – they'd be like, oh, there's a little trail. We're just going to get in there early and then cut down this little – yeah, right. It was like trees and obstacles where we're like, I'm on one side and I'm like lifting him up and over these trees and we're falling. And
he fell on me.
We fell on him a couple of times.
That's got to feel good.
I picked him up on my back to run with him to get ahead of these elk, and his leg came out of the socket, and I'm like, you're good? And I just drop him. And his one leg goes one way, and then his whole, one leg goes the other way, and he just hits the ground and just crumbles over, and we're laughing our asses off. And I mean, we worked for that elk. It was, when he hit that elk, it was the whole, I mean, I know everybody out there that's worked, you hit that sigh of just like, when it hit the ground, you're like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
Like we did it. It was one of those feelings. And we've hunted elk where we've gone out and shot elk the first morning, and it's still rewarding and it's great. But when you blood, sweat, and tears into something for 5 days, 6 days, and we finally put it together and we're running out of time, and it was epic. It was just, everything lined up and it just worked out.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Where can people, we always talk about this. You've been on the podcast before, but Wishes for Warriors is always out there serving wounded veterans.
Yes.
You're out there doing your thing. The proof is in the pudding. You guys are doing it all the time. And you're growing all the time. People want to participate and they want to be involved in this. How do they get involved? How do they we talked before. They don't just need, if people can donate funds, that's great. And they can do that at wishes4warriors.
Wishes4warriors.org. And so that, and like we talked about before, just hunts, outfits, fishing trips, camping trips. We just had a guy come up to us at the show. He's like, hey, I got 15 mules. And we go 20 miles back into these lakes and we fish we could do a 4-day trip. Boom.
Done.
He's like, just get the guys to the airport. I'll pick them up and take care of the rest. Who doesn't want to go on a camp?
And you guys can play that matchmaker role where you take a guy and plug it in.
Because when a veteran fills out an application, we ask them. And I would say probably 80% of the guys are like, I just want to get out.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because somebody could come to me and be like, hey, I got 3 cow elk tags. And we hit the guy up, hey, you want to do a cow elk tag, meet in the freezer hunt for your family?
Yeah.
Done. Put me on it, Or hey, you want to do a camping trip, or do you want to go float to Colorado? And there's everything. So it doesn't take the funds. If you don't have it, but you know somebody that has a connection with, the outdoors or anything like that. It's amazing. We've had so many people come up at this show. That's what I love about the hunting community. Is you guys come up like, hey, I got a ranch, I got tags, I get landowner tags, we want to donate one. This guy came up and donated a high fence elk hunt, which, high fence hunts, everybody's got their opinions on it, but for us, it's awesome because I could take a guy like Erik, where we've done in the past, where we've taken double, triple amputees, paraplegics that are non-mobile at all. There's just guys, we could get everybody in the world to drag him around the mountains if he wasn't mobile. We would make it happen, but for those guys like that, when we get offered a high fence hunt and we can set a guy up and he still gets to shoot a trophy animal and put it on the wall and it looks amazing and it's still a fun, amazing hunt. Because it's not about the hunt at the end of the day, it's camaraderie like we've talked about. But, it's things like that. These guys are like, hey, man, here's a $10,000 high fence hunt. Just get a guy here. We're like, something like that. And obviously not everybody's got a high fence hunt to offer, but does, management bucks, you name it. We'll do it.
So that's cool. So what do you got on store for now that you don't get to kill anything else because you're in back? What do you have in store for this year?
So we're doing our Deerapalooza here. I get back from this show, and then we drive to Texas. I drive to Texas like 3 days later, which is where we go out and we do the MLD program in Texas, where my buddy's got 30,000 acres, and we got to kill a certain amount of deer.
Yeah.
So last year we killed 42 deer in a weekend. It looks like this huge slaughter fest, and we kind of got some hate for it, but at the same time, we donated 1,800 pounds to another organization, and they feed homeless veterans and military families in need.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's 1,800 pounds. And what the coolest part about it is we get these guys that have served their country, but then now we get to bring them out there, and now they're serving the veteran community themselves. They're helping out the community, and now they're giving back, which is really cool. So we got that, and then we got a heli hunt coming up like a week after that one. So that's always a good time, bringing those guys out and shooting pigs from the helicopter. So we killed 400.
Nobody seems to care if you shoot a pig.
No,
from a helicopter, but it upsets me when you shoot a lot of does.
Yeah,
and it's even worse if it's But still, it's 1,800 pounds of meat.
1,800 pounds of organic, and we skin them out.
It's a natural resource. It's right there, and everybody got to get outdoors and do their thing.
And that charity, they depend on people donating.
Yeah.
So for us to pull up with 40 deer that are skinned out, ready to go in a cooler, the guy was just like in tears. He was like, man, and then it coming from a veteran organization, he's never seen anything like that. So. It was really cool, and to be able to do that every year, and our boys down there in Texas at the FE Hill Ranch, that they used to do it and just donate it to the town. But once I went to them and I pitched it to them, I mean, they were like, it was a no-brainer.
So people can follow you guys on Wishes for Warriors.
Yep, there's just an underscore in between the 4 on each side of it. So
Wishes underscore 4 underscore Warriors on Instagram.
Yep.
They can follow along and kind of see
Facebook,
what's going on.
you name it. Go on our website and check it out. And YouTube as well. We haven't posted anything in a while just because we've been so busy with the season. But, we have some videos on there so people can go and see what's going on. They can see Erik's deer hunt that we did with him and the Tough Mudders on there.
I think people should look for that episode from Schoolbound TV.
Absolutely. Jana's a lifesaver for us. She actually just got a couple of hunts lined up here.
That's awesome.
For this fall coming up.
She's always been a good supporter, a cool supporter, and she's like way into conservation. So give Schoolbound TV some love.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, dudes. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast again. It's always a pleasure, dude.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Erik.
Likewise.
Appreciate it. Stay gritty, man.
Yeah. Thanks,
Stay
brother.
gritty.
Thank you.
That's a grip, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
The future of public lands. All of us own them, all of us use them. Political activists are demanding us to hand over the public lands where the state's legislators could transfer and control these lands. U.S. citizens own 640 million acres of public lands, which creates 6.1 million jobs and generates $646 billion per year.
States have been selling off land to pay bills for over 100 years, thus closing access to the public. 39% of original 64 million acres have been sold. The cost of land management would break most state budgets. For instance, who will pay the hundreds of millions of dollars to fight major wildfires each year? It doesn't matter how many promises are made. The financial reality is it will force states to have to sell off our public land.
President Theodore Roosevelt said, "We must preserve our lands for future generations, not merely to the people now alive, but to the unborn people. Our duty to the whole bids us restrain an unprincipled present-day minority from wasting the heritage of these unborn generations."